welcome to our official groundbreaking. It's kind of fitting that we're having this at the site of our future Center for Early Education. This is a project that, right from the beginning, we wanted to make sure that the kids were involved in this project. And one of the things we did is decide that this scope of work, this new center, which was the electrical vocational program, should be taken on by our kids. And so the first group of people that I want to recognize is the group of students that are here. They represent electricians, carpenters, plumbers, all working together over this next year to bring us this new early education center. And if you haven't had a chance and after take a look at the plans of what it's going to be transformed into, and they've just done a wonderful, wonderful job in very, very few months, doing all the demo work and now starting to put it all back together. So I do want to thank and acknowledge not just the students, but the 3 teachers that have worked on this as well and are part of that team. So so thank you for giving us this. As many of you know, this is a long process. It started about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been spearheaded by a wonderful school committee. And I do want to recognize the school committee and just have them rise, and I'll just introduce them. From the town of Stoughton, Roberta Harback. From the town of East Bridgewater, and also the chair of our building committee, Joe Dutcher. Wayne from the city of Brockton, and Chris DeLeo from the town of Norton. And we also have Mark Lindy from the city of Brockton as also our chair. Oh, and Bill Flannery, I didn't see you there. Bill Flannery from the town of Mansfield. Thank you, Bill. Okay, we're going to try to keep today moving. I know that everyone's time is precious, and I do want to respect that. So the first person that I'm going to call up is the chair of our building committee, Mr. Joe Dutcher. Joe is not only serves on as the East Bridgewater rep, but as the chair, he puts in so many hours, and he's the only unpaid person that has put in all these hours and so forth. He meets with us, 20, 30 hours sometimes a week, and he does it because he loves the school, he loves the kids. So, so please welcome Joel Dutcher.
Thank you, Lou. Welcome, everyone. It's indeed a privilege and an honor to be part of this project and to speak before you today. And I sort of like public speaking, but who doesn't? I promise to be brief. While this is the official groundbreaking of the addition and renovation project, it all began some time ago, as Lou said. And then finally, when the school committee gets involved, we pick the architects, DRA architects, and RF Walsh as the operations project manager to design the new gym and go over the building for the renovations and the updates and compliances that are required. I gained a lot from their expertise and knowledge of the school, because every time we went over the plans, and that was many times, I was amazed at how much they knew about every single room in the school, where it was, what it was used for, what it was going to be used for, and what it needed to be brought up to code. And we went over the plans many times and changed them, and we all worked together to get on the same page so we could bring a finalized plan to the MSBA for funding. And once we achieved that, and this is all a period of time, and once we achieved that, we were able to select our construction manager, and we chose W.T. Rich. And I am so pleased with the 3 firms that we are working with, and I think it's going to be a very successful project. I would be remiss, however, if I didn't give credit to the staff and students for the past almost 50 years that have kept the school in such great condition. One thing that all the contractors agreed on as they went through the school to bid on it was the great condition of the school. And that allowed us to renovate and not tear down. So we can all be proud of that. And like Lou said, this is an in-school project, the Early Education Center. The district office was built entirely in school. And the Culinary Arts Department that made and served us the hors d'oeuvres today. It's just a great school, and the students get so much out of it. And all 9 communities can be very proud of the interaction between the students and the staff. And it's just one more example of how I feel the staff works with the kids to have them become lifelong learners. I almost finished with that. Thank you.
A lot of this would not be possible without the support from our legislative staff, and I'm pleased that that several were able to make time in their schedule to be here today. I just want to acknowledge Representative Jay Barrows, who's in the back. He represents the towns of Foxborough, Mansfield, and Norton, and he's been a great advocate since my tenure here at the school. He's always at all the open houses and so forth, and he's a great advocate for the school. We were talking about the new biotechnology industry in Mansfield and what that means for our future workers and how we can train our kids to be employed by some of the wonderful things that's happening in some of these biotech firms up in Mansfield. Also, Jeff Deal, representative from Whitman, but covers East Bridgewater. Representative Jeff Deal is here. Jeff was just elected this term, and one of the first things he did was come here and tour the school. It was supposed to be a quick 30-minute tour, and 2.5 hours later, I couldn't drag him out of the engineering shop because he was just amazed of what was going on and so forth, and has supported us through proposed legislation and so forth and throughout this project. So thank you for that. Also, Representative William Galvin, I believe, is here from Kansas, covers the town of Stoughton. Again, a strong supporter of our school and so forth and of this project, and I appreciate Representative Galvin coming here and making the time today. I don't think I missed anyone. Next, I want to mention one of the first things as this project goes forward. We were wondering how vocational schools were going to get how they were going to address regional voc schools. And in 2009, the MSBA launched what they call the vocational-technical renewal and repair program. It made over $100 million commitment to the upgrade of repair to 9 voc schools. We were one that was fortunate enough to be invited for the feasibility study. And one of the first things we did was choose a project management firm to work with us, and we were very pleased to choose RF Walsh. I want to acknowledge them for their hard work, and they've donated the hard hats for this ceremony, and they've been a great partner in this project. So I just want to acknowledge them and all their help. Next, I'm going to introduce the chair of our school committee, Mr. Mark Linden.
Thank you very much, Lou. It gives me great pleasure to see our school transformed and renovated to meet the needs of our district well into the future. We want to thank very much the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for all their financial support, or this wouldn't be possible, and our 9 communities out there that support all of our educational efforts. At this point in time, I would like to introduce our wonderful mayor from the city of Brockton, who is a lifelong learner herself and a champion of education, Mayor Linda Balzotti.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I certainly am a lifelong learner. When you become mayor, you learn a lot, I'll tell you that right now. Some good, some bad. It really is a pleasure, though, to be here this morning. I want to congratulate the superintendent and the school committee for all of the hard work that you've done to make these projects a reality. I also want to thank you for the fact of that your tremendous fiscal management has meant that it's not an assessment for any of the communities, and that's terrific, and we appreciate that, so thank you. And most importantly, I want to thank you on behalf of all of the students that attend this school, and especially the large number of students from the city of Brockton that attend this school. The trades and the skills that students receive here, they can take to do things everywhere. They're transferable, they're important, and they're skills that are necessary to keep our economy moving. Projects such as this building project that thankfully we appreciate the support of the MSBA both here. Treasurer Grossman, thank you for your support of this project, as well as all of the projects that are being undertaken in the city of Brockton. All of those projects put people to work, and in these economic times, that is crucially important that we put folks to work. So that's an added benefit beyond the wonderful educational opportunities that will continue to exist for the students here. So I want to thank all of you that were involved in this project. What a terrific project it is, and it's a pleasure to be here to celebrate that project with you. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. And we've had a great relationship with the city of Brockton. We do a lot of partnerships. It's fitting that we're in the Future Early Ed Center, where all our seniors they go to the elementary schools and actually work alongside the kindergarten teachers and so forth. So there's a lot of partnerships that people know about, people may not know about, and we really rely on those kinds of community relationships. So thank you again. Next, I want to introduce Randy Scollins, the finance director from the town of Foxborough. In addition to be the finance director, he sits on our building committee and is the person that I call when there was a question about money or how we're going to finance this project, and he's been just giving us unbelievable advice. And because of that, we were able to do what we could do to get this project through, maximize our bond, and still not increase assessments. So it was great to have Randy, and I appreciate all the time that he puts in on this project. So Randy.
Thank you very much for the kind words, Lou, and welcome again to all. Well, this is an extraordinary event, isn't it? And it's not the fact that another $30 million plus school renovation and addition project is getting underway. No, thanks to the state for funding such projects, for funding such projects that have been supported for years in the Commonwealth. But what is truly extraordinary and somewhat of a miraculous achievement, as the mayor alluded to, is the fact that this excellent $32 million rehab and expansion of this 45-year-old building, that is the Southeastern Regional Vocational-Technical High School, will not result in an assessment increase to any of the 9 member communities of Southeastern Regional. This is the fantastic result of an outstanding partnership. In particular, the state, through the Massachusetts School Building Authority, the MSBA, which has committed to 80%, or approximately $26 million in reimbursement of the project costs, with the remaining $6 million to be funded by the school's annual capital funding, as was bonded over 25 years at a great interest rate that was orchestrated by the school's business manager and their financial advisor, First Southwest. Now, had a couple of things gone differently, this would not be so extraordinary, and thankfully they didn't. First off, the MSBA's 80% contribution is the difference maker. Had their contribution been the 49.31% level that was awarded to my town of Foxborough's high school rehab project, this project wouldn't have been possible because it would have required 9 individual community votes to support increases in their assessments. A very dicey proposition these days, as we all know. So thank you very much to the MSBA for their commitment to this project, and please continue to support these higher rates of reimbursement for these outstanding institutions, for our children, for lifelong success and learning. It is an investment that is well worth it. Second is the strong partnership displayed by the Southeastern Regional School Committee and the School Building Committee, guided by the excellent leadership of Superintendent Lopes. Their creativity and commitment to the school's Their creativity to use the school's annual capital funds to fund the debt service payments on the project is what ultimately results in no increased assessments to the member communities. So congratulations to all involved. Great job on a remarkably successful financial feat for local communities and their children.
Thanks, Randy. I also want to acknowledge, I saw in the back there, Bill Whalen is a member of our building committee, kind of a silent member, but people don't realize behind the scenes, I send him all the contracts to review, and he does so. He turns them around. He gives me some great advice, some great suggestions, and so I do rely on him a lot, and I know that when I need him to be there, he's always there. So thanks, Bill, for your contribution. Next, I'd like to introduce Judd Christopher from DRA, and Judd is going to give a brief overview of the project scope and what is really involved, because I don't think some people may realize exactly what we're going to do completely in this project. So DRA, again, they've been instrumental in this. They understand that we have a certain budget to work with. We have a certain scope that we want to do. And I don't want to go over budget, and I don't want to reduce scope. And they keep going back to the drawing board. As late as yesterday, I sent them back to the drawing board on a few more things. And he just smiles, and he does it, and comes back with ways of getting it done. So thank you, DRA, and it's all for you. Thank you.
Identifying the major scopes of work that are occurring in the project. And as everybody has said, this has been a fairly, This has been a fairly long process for us. We basically started this last fall as a feasibility study. And two major things came out of the feasibility study. One, what we found are some of the space layouts in the existing building didn't fit the current enrollment projections. And with the building being in very good shape, it is also a 45-year-old building. Some of the existing building systems needed to be upgraded. So those are the two things that we started looking at when we looked at the project. Early in the design, because of the enrollment projections, we knew we did need an addition to the building. And we looked at several different options as to what would be the best fit to put in the addition. And the one that seemed to work the best was the gym as an addition, primarily because it could correct some existing problems in the two current gyms that they have. We could build them a larger gym that could house and do more activities in there. But the most important thing is it helped free up a lot of valuable space inside the building to help some of the overcrowding in certain areas that they had. One of the key things was this allowed this would allow us to move the existing media center, which occurred right here, and we could house that now in the large existing gym. And it could get a much higher volume space and be a much more pleasant space. It allowed them to get a larger book collection, which was needed. But the other thing it also helped is it really helped us make the cafeteria a lot bigger. The current cafeteria, I think, has 5 seatings right now. So some of the kids are probably having lunch at like 10 o'clock, 10:30 or something. So this really helped us get to a 3-seating cafeteria, but also help us create what we call a student commons area. We kind of keep the existing hallway that cuts through there that defines the cafeteria and the library, but allows us, again, for additional seating, but also to enclose the cafeteria when they want to use that with the platform for different performances or speaking engagements, but also give it kind of a student's ownership of the space. And you can see that in some of these images kind of down here, where we would create these kind of open seating areas for the students to use, you know, when they have some off time or during their lunch periods. Also, by freeing up the auxiliary gym, we were able to find a home for the fine and performing arts, which kind of had different areas in the building. They had places to work, but they didn't really have a home. And they now could kind of have a home. They could be close to one another where they could do a lot of collaborative different projects together, and that really seemed to be a great fit for them. By doing this project here, we were able to take the electrical shop and get them inside the building, and also the plumbing shop, get them inside the building. So now most of the vocational trades are all inside the building, and they can work a little bit better together doing different collaborative projects. And that was also seen as a unique positive. And then down in the lower area of what was the 74 addition and what was called Cinema 1, that was where Fine and Performing Arts had done some stuff. There were some other things that really was tough to get a home for them, but that kind of has now become the new health and medical assisting area. And by freeing that up and moving them from the second floor, we can now build 4 new science labs, real state-of-the-art science labs, which right now, currently the ones that they had, there were some in the existing building that we can utilize, but the other ones that they had over here were kind of spread out, were a little undersized, and were kind of not connected to the academic study program. So we were able to kind of consolidate all that and get them 4 new science labs, which we think is just a fantastic piece to the project. That's primarily it. We also, again, we're doing a lot of building system upgrades, a lot of roof repairs. We're also significant mechanical system upgrades. The building is now going to be fully sprinkled. It's going to get a brand new fire alarm system. It's going to get the upgrading that it needs. The building is in excellent condition, and I think when the project is done, it's going to be an awesome project. We're proud to be part of it. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Judd. Our next, Kathy Craven, was scheduled to be here this morning, but as most of you know, her family is mourning the loss of her father, the Honorable John Joseph Craven. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her and her family. Having committed over $200 million previously to vocational schools, the vocational initiative that I spoke about previously is the largest investment that the state has ever made to vocational education, and I'm honored today and pleased that MSBA is here today to help us, and I can honestly tell you that being involved in education over 25 years, I've been involved and dealt with a lot of government agencies, and the MSBA is, in my estimation, the most efficient government body that I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and they've just been a great partner and someone that I know I could always call, and they kind of guide us through things and so forth, and it's great to know that they're there for us. Much of that success can be attributed to Kathy Craven in the Treasurer's Office. As you may know, Catherine has accepted a new role working for the University of Massachusetts. Although she will be missed, we are fortunate to have with us the interim head of MSBA, effective tomorrow morning, although he's been with them since September, Mr. Jack McCarthy.
I'm happy to report that the number, Louis, right, including this, is now up to $256 million that MSBA has invested in Voc Ed. So we're proud of that number, and we want to see it grow. And Minuteman's here. I'm going to be meeting with them tomorrow morning. There he is, way in the back. So next project, you know. So it's a great pleasure to be here at Southeastern Voc Tech School. This is my first groundbreaking ceremony on behalf of the MSBA, and it's also the first time I've shared the program with my chairman, Treasurer Steve Grossman, so it's an honor to be here. Benjamin Franklin once said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." And that is what this project demonstrates, an investment in knowledge. The total project cost, as was stated, was around $32, but it's $977,475. And as was stated, the MSBA reimbursement rate is 80%, and that's the highest we can give you by statute. So you've gotten the best deal you can, and that number is $25,988,607. And this school, as you know, will serve grades 9 to 12 with an agreed upon enrollment of 1,370 students, and they come from the city of Brockton, the towns of East Bridgewater, Easton, Foxborough, Mansfield, Norton, Sharon, Stoughton, and West Bridgewater. The Mass School Building Authority works with local communities to identify school facility needs, to develop fiscally responsible and educationally appropriate solutions, to create safe, sound, and sustainable learning environments. And this project certainly fits that ideal. The gentleman from DRA gave you a little scope of the project, and it includes an 11,000 square foot gymnasium to be constructed at the rear of the building, which will serve as a replacement for the school's 2 undersized gyms. The new gym would be able to house 2,000 people. The school's existing large gym would be converted into a media center and classrooms, while the smaller gym would be turned into drama and music learning spaces. The renovation will also add 6 new science labs to the school. Another area that will undergo significant improvement is the school cafeteria. Other improvements include a new roof, replacing the school's single-pane windows, upgrading the school's electrical system, adding fire sprinklers, taking out individual shop restrooms and replacing them with communal airport-style bathrooms, and, very important, bringing the school up to current Americans with Disabilities Act compliance. As most of you know, an education focused on STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is currently a priority of Massachusetts and really across the country. At our last board meeting, Treasurer Grossman introduced to us a new term. It's not STEM anymore, it's STEAM, and the A stands for the arts. And this project touches all of the bases for STEAM, beginning with the new science labs that are based on the MSBA new guidelines, moving on to the new Center for Emerging Technologies, which will offer majors in environmental engineering, biotechnology, legal and protective services, architectural drafting, electronics, computer network, and finally, the new Center for Visual and Performing Arts, which will offer majors in visual design and photography, graphic communications, performing arts, web design, and animation. Projects such as this are not accomplished without close working partnerships between the school committee, staff, parents, students, the wider community, and the government, both local and state level. This school district enjoys a great legislative delegation, which has been pointed out earlier, and they have all been strong advocates for this program. And the local team, led by Superintendent Lopes, their principal Dave Wheeler, Joseph Dutcher, chair of the building committee, Mark Lindy, and Randy Scollins, has been great to work with from the MSBA's viewpoint. I'd also recognize the team of professionals that you guys chose, and you chose a great team, really. R.F. Walsh, great OPM, architect, the DRA, outstanding, and your general contractor, W.T. Rich Company, another great choice. There's no better investment than a community can make that contributes more to society than an investment in education of the highest possible quality. We are so thrilled to partner with you in this investment. As the great Chinese philosopher Confucius said, if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. If your plan is for 100 years, educate children. And you guys are planning for 100 years. We have the MSBA staff assigned to this project. Field Coordinator Brendan Melican and Project Manager Tom Kazmuski are always available to assist in any way, as am I. Just pick up the phone, one of us will get back to you. I wish you the best of luck, and rest assured, the MSBA will remain your partner throughout this entire construction project. I can't wait to return for the ribbon cutting ceremony. Thanks.
I do want to acknowledge W.T. Rich, our construction management firm. Again, they came on board about 3 or 4 months ago, and have just hit the ground running. The first crew is on board already. The fencing is going up, and they're pushing us, which is what we want to happen, because they understand that one of the keys to keeping this project under budget or at budget is holding to the time frame that we have set, and they've been, again, a welcome addition to our partnership team. So thank you, W.T. Rich. Next, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. Steve Grossman has spent a lifetime dedicated to helping others. He's committed to using the full potential of the Treasurer's Office to protect the public's money, help create jobs, boost small businesses, and brings new standards of transparency and disclosure to state government. He's a leading figure in numerous charitable organizations. As chairman of both the Massachusetts and National Democratic parties, Steve established a track record as a reformer and a builder. He was elected treasurer in 2010. Steve is a graduate from Princeton University and Harvard Business School. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce State Treasurer and Receiver General Stephen Grossman as our featured speaker.
Thank you so much. As the last speaker, before we actually do our groundbreaking and before we present the ceremonial facsimile check for almost $26 million, I really wanted to sort of summarize or put in context a lot of what we've been talking about this morning. This is a celebration. This is a celebration of a community of learners who are coming together every single day in a 21st century learning environment, which, because of the deep commitment of the Mass School Building Authority and all the local communities, are going to have facilities they need to be true winners in this innovation economy of ours. So I'd like, right at this point, since so many other people have already been acknowledged, I want anybody who is a student here currently, anybody who has ever been a student here, past or present, I want you to stand and be recognized, because that's what we're doing, creating a community of learners. And when you think about what's happened in Massachusetts over the past 10 years, think about the tremendous demographic changes, educational changes, societal changes, and changes in the business environment. And vocational technical education is right at the heart and soul of that. There are more than 40 vocational technical schools in Massachusetts. And when we sit on a regular basis and talk about the future, we talk about vocational technical education as really being at the heart and soul of all of that. And this investment, one of many investments, as Jack and others have already said, is designed to make sure that we create a truly 21st century learning environment. I won't go into the details of what we've done so far. I'm thrilled to recognize 3 young people whom I met earlier who just stood. They're wearing those Skills USA red blazers. I've already invited them to come to the State House, to come to my office. This is the kind of leadership that we're looking for and that we're trying to create here in Massachusetts. This is what's going to lead us into the 21st century. Let me put in context what the Mass School Building Authority has been all about. Because for those who have been, and I look at Bill Galvin, Jeff Deal, Jay Barrows, and those who couldn't be here, and I particularly want to pay attention to and mention our dear, dear friend, Senator Tom Kennedy. Tom Kennedy would have been here this morning. His mother, Mary, passed away a few days ago, age 101. The wake will be Thursday and Friday in Brockton, funeral on Saturday morning. So he would have been here. You know he would have been here. But he and the rest of the legislative delegation, senators and state representatives, took a look at public education in Massachusetts, not just vocational technical, but all public education, and said the funding of public school buildings in Massachusetts is broken. Less than 10 years ago, the legislature came together and in probably one of the most successful acts of leadership we've seen in a generation, created the Mass School Building Authority. There were projects on the drawing board going back years and years and years. Billions of dollars of construction that had been promised to communities but never delivered. And the legislature said, we're going to fix this problem once and for all. We're going to provide a funding source for public school construction. We're not going to touch it. We're going to leave it aside. We're going to make sure it's fenced off from any legislative involvement, and it is going to allow us to borrow money and to fund school construction all over the Commonwealth. 1 penny of your sales tax is allocated to school construction. Every time you spend 6.25% on any product for which there is a sales tax, 1 of those pennies goes to school construction. That almost $700 million a year in sales taxes is able to support, since 2004, when the Mass School Building Authority was created, over $8 billion of school construction here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, of which this project is just the latest example. So if you think about what it looked like 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, what it looks like today, it's no surprise that when Catherine Craven was looking for a deputy executive director of the Mass School Building Authority, before she was even offered the job as the executive director of the UMass Building Authority, she picked Jack McCarthy as her number 2. And I'm proud that tomorrow morning he will be number 1. Why? Because for the last 10 years, so why did she make that choice? She made that choice for a number of reasons. First of all, Jack McCarthy has been part of the fabric of his own community, the town of Norwood, for many, many years. But second of all, and more important, he has been, for the better part of the last 10 years, the right-hand person to Greg Sullivan, the Inspector General of the Commonwealth. If you, as citizens, want to see every dime of your taxpayer money spent wisely, and I assume there's no one in this room who would not want every dime spent wisely, then you would look no further than the Office of the Inspector General. Because every time there is an accusation or a suspicion of any wrongdoing whatsoever or any concerns, the Inspector General's office was always there, and Jack and Greg Sullivan and that team were always there. Even to the point where we bring them in on a regular basis at the Treasurer's office to help advise us on proper policies for procurement, so that when we buy goods and services using your taxpayer dollars on behalf of all the 6.5 million people in this Commonwealth, we're doing it wisely. So I am thrilled that Jack, having spent a lifetime of leadership, working for 2 Secretaries of State, working in the IG's office, became the Deputy Executive Director, will be the Executive Director of the Mass School Building Authority, leading a team of 50 professionals who are dedicated to doing all the things that we've talked about earlier in this conversation. So this is not only a celebration of creating a community of learners, but if you think about the diversity of the Commonwealth, this is a diverse community of learners. And celebrating diversity in every one of our communities and giving each and every student the opportunity to realize her or his full potential, that's also what we're all about. Think about it. The last 10 years, 46% increase in the number of Latino or Hispanic citizens of this Commonwealth. An equal number, 46% increase in the number of Asian American citizens of this Commonwealth, 26% increase in the number of African American citizens of this Commonwealth. We have seen immigrant entrepreneurship become the story of the 21st century in Massachusetts. Why did Massachusetts get an improved bond rating in the month of September? Why are we the only state in the United States, since the fiasco in Washington on August 2nd, why are we the only state in the United States to get an improved bond rating to AA+? How is it that we just borrowed $1.2 billion at 10 basis points, 0.1% to fund our short-term obligations? And how is it that Jack and Catherine and the team at MSBA just borrowed $1 billion from investors all over the United States to fund school construction? People are investing in Massachusetts because we reformed our health care system at the municipal level because we needed to do that. We reformed pensions at the state and local level because we needed to do that. We're pouring money back into the state's rainy day fund, which is now up to almost $1.5 billion. And we work in partnership with great mayors. Mayors like Linda Belzotti, whose commitment to fiscal discipline and accountability is the hallmark of her term of office in the city of Brockton. And that's true of each and every one of the towns and the town managers and the finance directors. That's what we're all about. Fiscal discipline and accountability, living within our means. That is what this project is all about. But it seems to me at the end of the day that this notion of merging our commitment to science and technology and engineering and math and the whole healthcare cluster that is going to be a central ingredient in the education of our young people, these almost 1,400 young people, grades 9 through 12, who will get a great education here, who will go on to whatever they choose. Because the phrase "no limits" should describe every high school student and the opportunity available for every high school student. I don't care whether you live in Pittsfield or Newton or Easton or Bridgewater or Brockton or Boston or any other community. There is no young person, 9 through 12th grades, who should ever see any limits imposed by society. There is an opportunity to learn here, to grow here, to develop here, to learn a trade, and to go right into that trade. to go on to one of our 29 public colleges and universities, 2-year or 4-year, to go on to a private college or university, to go on and get a degree in finance, to go on and get a degree as an accountant or a lawyer or a mathematician, or go on and get graduate education and become a PhD and be a research scientist or engineer. No limits. There are no limits to the 1,370, almost 1,400 kids who learn in this environment. And this school building, this building that we are about to break ground on, is the physical opportunity that needs to be matched with the quality of instruction that goes on inside the building. Because it's great learners, highly motivated, parents who care deeply about their children, school administrators from the superintendent down to every classroom student, every classroom advisor, every guidance counselor that makes this a community of learners working together to create a 21st century environment. And finally, my wife Barbara is the vice chair of the Mass Cultural Council. So one day when I heard this phrase STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, I said, you know, this is really what 21st century education is all about. My wife is fond of saying she's a full professor at Tufts University, teaches theater and drama, and in her work as vice chair of the Mass Cultural Council, she travels all over the Commonwealth and talks about the arts as an economic driver of this Commonwealth. But she's also fond of saying that when we teach our kids to pick up a flute or a paintbrush, our kids are way less likely to pick up a gun or a syringe. So this morning is a moment of celebration. It's a moment of coming together as a community of educators, of administrators, of political officials elected, of appointed officials, of parents, and of students. And of all the people here this morning, I am so proud that there are students here. Students here to participate in this, students here to share with their classmates, with their friends from former students, what this project is all about. Because if we're truly committed to and truly engaged in the business of education and the business of giving our kids the tools they need to compete and win in a 21st century innovation economy, which is what Massachusetts has turned into. Only 6 states in the United States are creating jobs faster than Massachusetts is creating them. We are creating an engine of growth and an engine of opportunity. I have 3 children, ages 35, 31, and 22. I'm thrilled that all 3 of my children and 4 of my grandchildren live in Massachusetts, have chosen to live here. But the only reason our kids will stay here is if they have an economic opportunity. So it is up to us to help create those economic opportunities in the city and towns that surround this campus. And that is our challenge as elected officials, as parents, as citizens. So let's celebrate today a new beginning and an opportunity to build on an extraordinary foundation that this institution has been for many, many years. Some of you stood and were former students here. Some of you stood as current students here. But regardless of whether you were a former student or a current student, this is a place, along with more than 40 other vocational technical schools in the Commonwealth, which will be an engine for learning, for growth, and realizing your full potential. No limits to the children of this Commonwealth, no limits to the children who are educated here. I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud now to sign a check for almost $26 million ceremonially that will turn over to the leadership of this project. Linda? Madam Mayor?
I won't tell anybody.
Thank you. There's one last ceremonial thing that we're going to do. We're going to have a shovel ceremony. Like I mentioned throughout this, there's so many people that have been partners. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to have 5 shovel ceremonies. But before we do that, and we'll move it along, we'll go very quickly. But before we do that, I just want to recognize the rest of the building committee. Mr. Mark Morris, our business manager, is here in the back. We mentioned Dave Wheeler and Dave Deegan, who always keep it about kids. And I also want to recognize James Tassinari. Where's James? I don't know if he's here. As there's Jim. As the facilities engineer, Jim is just a wonderful person to have. He's so knowledgeable. He's always pushing us for green energy, to be more efficient, for solar technology and so forth. And it's great to have him as part of our staff here. So Jim, thank you. And finally, I do want to recognize my secretary, Deb Cabral. I don't know if she's still here. Thank you. Okay, so first we're going to have the guest speakers and the legislators over for the ceremonial shovel ceremony and photo opportunity, followed by the school committee, the building committee, and then I want the team of W.T. Rich, DRA, and RF Walsh. And finally, I think part of what makes this project is the kids and the construction crew that are taking on a partnership. So I'd like the kids to be part of it at the end as well. So we'll just move along, and thank you for coming. We do have tours. We have 3 wonderful tour guides. So if you have the time and your time allows it, they're here to give you a brief tour, about 15-20 minutes of the school following this. So again, thank you. Have a wonderful day, and we appreciate all the support. The purpose today was just to celebrate the official beginning of our project. It's a $32 million project. Involves school-wide, as you've seen, it involves not just a few programs, but every single program is being touched. In addition, expansion, dealing with the overcrowding, and being able to partner with MSBA, 80% reimbursement, $32 million project. So it's really a celebration, but it's also the beginning of 2 years of hard work. It's a great project, a great opportunity. The kids, not just our current kids, but the kids for the foreseeable next 20 or 30 years are just going to have a great institution with a lot of opportunities directly linked to what the industry demands are, and that's what our purpose is. We got to prepare these kids for their futures and the jobs of the future. So that's what we're doing, and today is the kickoff. So.
Well, we're presently working on the renovation project here at the Early Ed Center with the carpentry and the plumbing kids, putting in all new services, all brand new classrooms. From top to bottom. We've completely stripped out the whole building, and we started fresh, and we're working on putting new walls and new rooms and new floors and ceilings and lighting.
A new area, a dedicated area for the arts. So there's going to be a video production studio. There's going to be a drama studio, drama room, black box theater. There's going to be a music area. So really to give that program an area and identity. There's going to be a new science wing that includes state-of-the-art science labs. There's going to be a new health and medical biotechnology wing to address those needs, and renovations to just about every shop. So I mean, upgrades to our collision repair program, upgrading our machine technology program to include CNC machining, a lot of the newest technology, and so forth, manufacturing tech, work in the engineering, web design is going to get a new area. So really, it affects every single program, all our academic programs, all our vocational programs.
We promoted it as a thing that 3 shops were working together, so it was a good opportunity for them to see what the other shops did. And obviously the PR today was a good thing for the kids. The kids are really excited about it. And the undertaking you see here has been done in 2.5 months. So it's really been good, and the 3 teachers work together and help each other do this, and then the kids are learning to work together, because that's a vital part of our industry, is to working, electricians, plumbing, and carpenters all working together to make the job come together.
Well, the students are doing all the major renovations, plumbing-wise, for all the underground piping, running cast iron drains, all the copper tubing, to transform what was the electricity building into the early childhood ed. They have to meet all the ADA compliant codes for the toddlers and for the adult use toilets. So a lot of different specifications have to be read, blueprints, everything has to be accurate, and it gives the kids kind of a learning experience on not just putting 2 pieces of pipe together, but why and how the application is used, and basically just how it's going to be used in an everyday shop.
This is probably a little bit more than we would normally get into, but it's actually a good project to see that the kids getting to see it from the very beginning right to the very end. So kids probably are going to see things here that they will see when they get out in the field if they're in the commercial end of electrical work, networking, computers, systems. So they get a pretty good start here. It was nice to see the support that we have out there. I think it was really good for the students to see how important this project is, because sometimes they hear it from their teachers and it doesn't really translate. But when they see something like this, I'm sure this is going to help them understand how important this project really is. A lot of nice kids here, and hopefully we turn out some good electricians at some point down the road.
Lifelong lessons to disciplines, safety disciplines here, electrical learning, training, carpentry training. We have some aspects of wood, new products being used. We're trying to use all the new products that are being introduced into our industry, such as metal studs, as you look around and see, suspended ceiling type things, all the new communication systems are coming into the building, so that kind of thing. So they're seeing the new stuff. Green products we're using out back, so there's a lot of good things like that happening. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. They've never seen it before. We tried to tell them what it was about, so I think they did. The speakers did a great job telling the kids what this is all about. I'm sure they're more excited. I'm excited about seeing it and finding out more about what's going on, and it'll be a good lesson for the kids too, because we can take them while the project's going on, so we can show them how the people in the real world do it and stuff, and they're just the trainees learning to do what these guys will be doing. So it'll be a good thing. It'll all come together. Keep watching. Keep seeing how we do, see the progress, and this has been a great day for our kids.
When you start at the freshman, sophomore exploratory level, you do a lot of benchtop simulated projects. Getting to here now and you see an actual live job site, they're actually putting the pieces together to see how it's used, and it's a great experience for the kids, and we kind of reiterate every so often, Mr. Carl, Mr. Bodie, and myself, that it's a unique opportunity for the kids. Not too many students throughout the school get to do projects like this that'll be used for years to come. So they can come here years after they graduate and say, have the preschool kids using the bathrooms or the kitchen, or turning the lights on, and they can say, I built that, I put that wall in, I installed all those fixtures, and I ran those wires, and it's very unique, and it's a great opportunity for the kids to showcase their skills. I believe they open their eyes. Like I said, we tell them day in and day out how great of an opportunity this is, but I think today really kind of just showed them this is really a big deal. And not just now for the students that are here, but for the students of the future of the Eastern region. I'd actually just like to thank the kids for all their hard work and all their dedication, and for everything they've really done for this project. They've come a long way from the demo to the installation to the finished product towards the end of the year, and I'd just like to say thank you to all students.
The goal is for us to be completed in September of 2014, so over the next 2 years. And trying to run the school and do the construction project at the same time is going to be a challenge, but we have a plan. I think it's going to work. This will only work if we have the support of everybody. So we definitely have that. I think people were witness to that today, so that was great to have that kind of support.